Research and elections. Moderator Thadeus involved. I guess before no one introduced you fully, yeah? I mean fully with the script, so let me read it. So we'll have Kateryna and Thadeus. Political consultant regarded as a number of powerhouse, specializing in bringing together diverse stakeholders for electoral campaigns, outreach, and change management. Has been instrumental in electing progressive candidates at the city, district, state, and federal levels. After some urging from colleges and helping flip Michigan State Supreme Court in 2020, launched Green Line Consulting LLC in 2021 to build the gap between community organizing management, organizational development, and electoral politics. He will participate personally. Okay, so we'll be quite short, and then we'll have time for some networking. So I guess like 15 minutes will be okay for you. Okay,
It'll be pretty good. Yeah.
15-20 minutes. We have part of discussion. We have presentation, and part you have interaction with interactive with guests. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. A couple of themes that have been consistent since we've been here. Even though we come from different places, we all believe not only in democracy, but we also believe in facts. And without research, you have no facts. And after the some of the research you brought up about voter turnout in other places, what do you think about how do we make research more of a norm in campaigns?
It's a really good question because if we go to Eastern Europe and Central Asia, people don't believe in research at all. So people think that they will start campaigning directly and they go to buy TV ads and billboards without research. So originally people can pay like $10-20 million for advertising without any research, without any focus groups, and so on and so forth. And that's why, which is most understandable for Western market, for United States, for Canada, it's not understandable for developing countries. And if we can see our presentation, we also have like statistics on 2022 of democracy index, and as we see in countries which have like bad democracy index from 1 till 3, they usually not use research, and it's also connect with their governing later. Because when they don't use research, they also don't feel their voters after being in office. So that's why it's very pretty interesting method of understanding this correlation between democracy development and research tools in campaign management.
Okay, and would you say some research tools, are they more readily available to people, or some people don't have the exact knowledge on like what tools and tactics to use for research?
No, first of all, I think in some countries in Latin America it's pretty the same, because people who go to public policy, it's mostly people from business. And in business, when you start business from scratch in pretty aggressive economical environment, you don't do research, you just do business, right? No, so you go straight to the point. And they try to use the same logic in public policy. So even when we work, for example, in Kazakhstan, in Georgia, some people who came from business and who fund their campaign from their own money, they said, oh no, I'm an experienced person, I don't need any research, and I know what people need. Usually it's not true, usually it's not work, but it's a logic which we try and always with the IGAPA network and with our company to change, because sometimes people spend really like hundreds of millions of dollars without any research. and and sometimes they spend it. So in Ukraine it was new political force. They spent $20 million of campaign, and they get 1% of votes. I mean, because they just do something, yeah. And if you talk about like type of research, no, of course. We can do some cheap research, which will be, for example, big data analysis or analysis after your, like we have discussion on a social media campaign. But if we go even to like work with pollsters and focus groups, it's not cheap, game. So you must spend like $10,000-$20,000 for every research. And on local level, of course, it's challenging, and that's why also some people said, hey, if I have fully $50,000, I can spend $20,000 on research. So it's also like problem of emergency markets, yeah, and emergency like democracies. But some countries, as the United States, already use like neuromarketing research and other research, which I mean sometimes too deep to understand your audience. I mean, it's a part of like brains, eye tracker, all this stuff, and it's interesting to know if somebody in their practice use this type of research, not only classical like pooling, but also this type of research.
So would you say the challenge is researching, collecting data in a way that's kind of academic, but not too academic for people to comprehend, or?
No, I mean that on Eastern Europe and Central Asia, people don't understand that research is method which originally work. So they said, no, we haven't time for research, we have time for action. And that's why if they don't use research in business, they usually don't use research in political campaigning also. And that's why sometimes we have the same numbers, it's like $2 for one voter in Eastern Europe. It's the same money which like we spent in the United States, because people don't do research and they don't use tools which more effective. So if they have money, they go to TV channel and buy TV advertising with a nice face without any research in this advertising.
And on average, how much does it cost to, I won't say win, but at least to be competitive in a Ukrainian or Eastern European election?
From $1.30 for one voter for all campaigning. I mean, if you count all budget for campaign, it will be around $1.30, but better to have $2 for every voter. So if on your district it's 100,000 voters, usually you need $200,000 for all work, like research, team, TV, newspapers, work in the field. And it also connects that some people live in villages, and it's quite expensive to have volunteers groups who go and work in every village, because it's huge distances. So people not live like in New York in one building, like 5,000 people in one buildings. People live in villages where 500 people in every village, and every village like 20-40 miles from each other. So just count like fuel and car to bring your volunteers to every village, and it will be pretty big budget. So that's why it's not so big difference between budget of campaigns like in Eastern Europe and Central Asia and here.
Well, what are some things we can use on the research front to, okay, we probably can't like fully defeat disinformation, but how can we better utilize research?
No, I think that now it's more data than we can use this data, because sometimes also people buy pretty expensive research, but nobody read that. Maybe you have it in your campaign, yeah? When you have very big pool and like it was direct face-to-face interview, very accurate, but candidate and his campaign manager not read it attentively. They see their points, but they don't see like what the essence of these points. I mean, so it's a problem, and sometimes it's too much data. So, for example, when you do campaigning mostly in social media, it's a lot of data to analyze originally after all testing and after all campaigning about engagement, about feedback in every group where your volunteers work. So it's a lot of data. So I think that today sometimes it's more data available than you can analyze. And of course, if you do like Obama or Clinton or Trump campaign, you have a lot of staff who have good education and experience to analyze that. But on municipal level, or if we talk about school boards, or if we talk about not big campaigns or even primary work, people just haven't enough people with experience and education to analyze this research, even if their offices get all this data from central office. Or from central political party. And it's sometimes bad in United States, but it's pretty bad also in European country. And so, for example, if central political party do research for all country and they put and give this research to local level, on local office in some town, sometimes people just don't understand how to use this research. So they see, okay, we have rating 22, but okay, rating 22 is bad or good. It's like good dynamic or bad dynamic. What is anti-rating here? What problems people see? What focus group said about you and about your image, your socks, your speeches, your TV speeches, right? So you just can't understand that. And I think now it's a little too much also analytics on TV and internet because it's all in real time. And we also sometimes use research when panels see your TV show, and you can correct messages direct in process of TV show. So when people don't like some message, you just text your candidate, and the candidate can change to other issue. Neuromarketing research, the same. If you have like 15 second video and you do neuromarketing research with eye tracker, when people concentrate their vision on some messages, you can short this video if you use neuromarketing research from 15 seconds to 10 seconds, which will be more affordable for your campaign. And it's all tools from classical marketing, and if McDonald's use that, why we don't use that? So from our experience, we do one TV ad and we test it with neuromarketing. So we cut 10 second from 30-second video, which give to us more opportunity to show this video more to voters. And what was interesting that when we see eye tracker, it's a special tracker where people originally watch when they watch your video, we see that it was pretty women on this video who was on meeting, and we see that voters don't read our message. They just look to these pretty women on video, and it's not that effect which we need to get on this part of video. So then we change this image with people to just messages and infographic, and people just read this message. So it's the same when you wait in airport and you see, I don't know, Chanel advertising. So you can't not watch that because it's attractive, because it's test on neuromarketing research, and it's give to you additional attraction to your neuro system. So that's why sometimes today big data is the same. So you can analyze big data, for example, from advertising company to analyze what billboard you must buy for your election campaign, or to what audience you can do micro-targeting. But sometimes it's so much research that you just can't, you must have specific staffer who will do that and who will add to your strategy and tactics some information from this research. It's pretty interesting time to work originally.
Do you find that research works better when media and academia are either like working together or collaborating together, or maybe working against each other, or?
I think you can do effective you can do effective strategy and effective tactics without research. Some people try to do that, and I know a lot of candidates who said, okay, research it's not right. My wife know better which photo I must use. Yeah, you know the situation, right? Or not wife, or my friend, or I don't know, my colleague, or somebody else. So it's very typical for every country, right? And the same with speeches, public speeches. So one more time, your office it's not your audience, right? And your wife it's not your voter. So sometimes your wife is your voter, sometimes no. But I mean, people not use research because they even when they're successful, and usually politicians it's pretty successful people, they believe that their point of view is right, and it can cost like millions of dollars if they run to like election campaign. So that's why I think that research must be basic issue before of course like making strategy and making decision about type of communication. Originally Jay talked on our last forum a lot about research and how he formed budgeting basics on research of like focus groups when people said yes I trust for example to this newspaper or to this website and why. So he see focus groups and then decide what method of communication you can use. So if you have better research, you have more effective every dollar which you spend.
And what would you say are the more trusted places for research and outlets that people can turn to?
No, I mean, if you see some public research, obviously somebody wants you to see that. So it can be form research. I mean, like, for example, Republican voter, 46 Republican voters support aid to Ukraine. So we need to read this information because this research gives to us opportunity to work for Ukraine, right? But somebody did this research for some reason, and that's why I trust in election campaign only that research which we order and which like commercial company do for us, or research which done in our office. For example, if you talk about some data or data from our campaign, and you can do your own research. For example, you go to door-to-door campaigns, and in some square your volunteers bring to you 10% of effective communication, and some square give to you result of 40% of effective communication. So your internal research also can tell to you like how to change a little bit maybe your message box to be more effective, or that we can we as volunteers must work in pair, or it's must be like two women who go as volunteers, yeah, because every part of like your district can be interested. But one more time, it's not good idea to trust public research because it's expensive, and if somebody pay for that and then publish it, it makes some sense to publish it. And on elections campaign, it's many times in some countries it's regulated and some no. I mean publishing of research and source of this research, because if people see that okay, like candidate Clinton have like more points, some people said okay, she more perspective candidate, I will vote for her, or if we talk at Jason said that no, this candidate is still start-upper and haven't any points, what sense to vote for that? That's why I think that like in business, you can buy some public research about market, but if you want to know some deep information about your market, you must pay for that, and it will be accurate, tailored information for you.
If I would have known how much of a grift information was, I would have just jumped straight into research instead of field and organizing.
All right, I think everybody do a great job, and Let's on the final on our conference before our last dying time here. We have still 40 minutes for networking. Ask our audience about their research and how often you use research on your campaigns on every level. Who use? I use and who? Yeah. Not so much, right? Karen, I'm sure that you use research on your.
I have worked with campaigns and used research, but I haven't been directly involved in it. And now that you gave me the floor, I wanted to underscore something that Jim said. I have volunteered in 3 presidential campaigns, but I was a senior advisor in the Obama campaign, organizing Women for Obama, which was to the great consternation of my feminist friends. Why would I do that when we could have a woman president? And I said, we need a black president. Anyway, it went on and on. But his point about the Obama campaign was doing some of this relational organizing way back in 2008, and that's what we did with Women for Obama. We got people who were committed to the election to reach out to everyone we knew and do a fundraiser or a discussion meeting. So that wasn't your question, but I took advantage of the floor.
Yeah, thank you. And one more issue when we talk about expert interview as research. Sometimes, of course, you can afford researchers, and sometimes you can just ask a lot of people of their opinion, and you do. It will be not accurate sample, but you anyway can understand something. But you came to some country and you grab Uber or taxi, and if you ask a taxi driver some questions about public policy there or elections, you also will do little expert interview about this country and about some understanding of politicians. And who meets candidates who not use research and usually use only their office as sample? Such type of candidates. In Eastern Europe and Central Asia, it's 80% of candidates. Yeah.
Wow. Usually here, those kind of candidates don't make it or just go by the wayside.
They need research.
Yeah, so our point that we need research, and it's very important for international audience who not so much use research, that if you have $100 of budget, it makes sense to spend $10, $20 from that 100 to research, because otherwise you just don't understand what you communicate. So it's the main message of our today's panel. And let's move forward to our networking. And from my side, also thank you to Thadeus so much for his moderation and his work in his state